Just days after leaving Portland, after giving a victory speech at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, RFK was shot on June 5th. Ethel was by his side when it happened. Shortly after his death, she founded the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights and spent her life advocating for causes like gun control and environmentalism. Ethel Kennedy was 96 years old.
What would Bobby Kennedy think of the political climate these days?
You know, I don't like to get into would've, could've, should've. But I think anyone who was around in those days and saw him and knew how he felt, things could be a lot better now.
But 20 years later, a lot of the issues that he talked about are still with us. You were with him at his side during all of that. Does it surprise you personally that we still have these issues before us? Did you think 20 years ago we're going to solve these problems?
No, I thought we'd make a dent. And I think we did. And I think that a lot of people have made some sacrifice in their lives to make it a better world. And I think in a lot of ways it is. There's a lot more we can do.
We love it!
Welcome to Cape Cod, President Obama. I nominate you.
Somebody big just died. Social activist and widow of Robert F. Kennedy, Ethel Kennedy, is dead at 96 years old. Mike North is here to deliver her eulogy. Mike, how are you, my friend? Good morning.
I'm tremendous, Joe. Working a little morning drive today. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Going back to the day, of course, I had in my contract back in my radio days that they couldn't put me in mornings till I was over 50. And yeah, that kicked in. But don't worry, once I hit 50, let's go. You know, so I had the pleasure of doing morning drive radio, but that was much, much earlier in the day. This is something different, though. We're doing this for a respectable, beautiful, wonderful, my favorite. And I mean, when I said to Joe, Ethel Kennedy died, Joe came back with this response. I'll Google her. Who is she?
I said I had to Google her.
Yeah. You didn't know who Ethel Kennedy was. That's a product of our education system, ladies and gentlemen. This man is a smart man. But you know what? It's like the last century didn't matter. Well, let me tell you something. The Kennedys did matter. The Kennedys still matter in a lesser way. They've had nothing but tragedy. But through it all, this woman, and I'll talk about her in a minute after we get done with our sponsors, has held her head, or did hold her head high.
She did.
This is one of these deals where I did not have to do a whole lot of research because, like I said, how many people will say Ethel Kennedy was their favorite Kennedy? Well, when you go through the rest of the group, it's easy to find the great smelling flower. Believe me,
Sure.
Because there's some foul ones, in my opinion. This is how it is. And somebody big just died.
That's
we tell the truth.
Straight to the point.
We tell the truth straight up. Yeah, you got me up early. Am I happy about it? Maybe. Could I be a little bit more awake? I doubt it. I've been up for 4 hours. Okay, this is what I do. But hey, you know what else I do? We all know that this show cannot keep going and keep giving you the quality of entertainment and information and education like we're getting today for everybody without our sponsors, Cumberland Chapels. Okay, Cumberland Chapels at 8300 West Lawrence Avenue. Tony Lupo, great guy. Peter Martino, outstanding. The families, they know. They come from families. They've had their own pass on. They know how to treat people. It's really a ma and pa type of situation, okay? When you stop and think about it. A lot of corporations now, some own funeral parlors. These are family. They treat you with dignity. They treat you with respect. There's the beautiful place there. And, you know, it just comes out of nowhere. It's in a neighborhood. You got plenty of street parking. You got plenty of lots. You got a huge lot there, a huge lot across the street, plenty of parking. Never had a problem. I've been there 10, 12 times to see other people because It is, if you're going to talk about high-end funeral chapels, it's like Wrigley Field. It's in the middle of a neighborhood, and it's pretty damn big. And every day the place, unfortunately, because that's the way life is, it ends with death.
That's
busy.
right.
It's busy for a reason. So check them out. Also, we have Pennyville Station. Now, if you want the rehearsal dinner for a wedding, if you want to have the dinner after the funeral, you just want to go over there on a Friday night with your buddies, you want to hang out. The scenery's great. There's no doubt about it. Outdoor dining. My wife and I were there the other day. BB and I had the time of our life. We're going to be putting up some new pictures on our thing here. I got some new pictures with me and Tony Antonacci.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're up on Twitter on my North to North. If you folks want to check them out, check them out. Pennyville Station. 112 North Main Street, right across the street from the railroad station. You can take a train there, get off, and you're 20 feet away. So it's a beautiful place. Park Ridge is gorgeous. Lived there for 22 years. At the time of my life over there, well, it doesn't matter. But it's just a great, great place. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Ethel Kennedy. When I think of Ethel Kennedy, I think of somebody who didn't toot her own horn. I think of somebody who was looking to advance things. She says in the opening, things I thought would be different. Well, here's what I'm going to tell her. I don't think things would be any different. Okay? Because things were in upheaval back in 64, 65. This is America with 360 people. So I'll disagree with her. We might have made a dent. Okay. I put up on Twitter earlier today. We had the draft going on at that time. I ended up on almost going Vietnam. So I hear the Kennedys, but sometimes I don't. And even Ethel. But Ethel was dignified. Her husband and his brother, okay, in my opinion, messed with the wrong people more than once. John Kennedy was a very good president, was a young president. People loved him. He'd be a Republican today.
Yeah, he would.
There's no doubt about it. Robert, they had 11 kids.
11
kids. Now, let me tell you about Ethel Kennedy. Underrated, gorgeous type of woman. Now, there they are. Then where are the other 9? You know what I mean?
They're all over the place.
Like the Kennedys.
Sure.
They're all over the place. So she was born, listen to this, April 11th, 1928 in Chicago, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
George Skakel, and I want to say Skakel was her father, Skakel, and his secretary, Anne Brannick. She was the 3rd daughter among 7 children with a younger sister. So she came from a big family. All right.
Money.
That a boy, Joey boy.
Big money.
Big money. She met a friend of hers who was a Kennedy, Jean, the sister. Met her brother, Robert F. Kennedy, during a ski trip. Of course, that's where we all met.
That's what everyone meets at the fancy, expensive ski club.
He met her at the Mount Tremblant Resort in Quebec. I met my wife at Jewel on Clark Street. Okay.
There you go.
During that trip, Robert began dating Ethel's older sister. This guy was let me put it to you as succinctly as I can. The Kennedys were hound dogs. They were hound dogs. They went after, they liked girls. They liked the women. He was not on the radar for anything. Okay. And then his brother John gets elected president, and he became the attorney general. And from there, things started to go bad. Okay. Now, Ethel Kennedy has never uttered a word. Like Joe said, she wasn't a political player. She has the Ethel Kennedy Foundation. If she was a political Joe knows Jane Fonda. I know he knows who Jane Fonda is.
Yes, I do.
Not only because of her acting, but because of her political activism. Okay. And other people that are stars, from George Clooney to Robert De Niro to people like that. She stayed out of it. She just started a foundation. Okay. It was the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights.
Yep.
And she is just such a glorious person. There's Tom Brokaw, a known liar in the media, asking her about problems. But a dignified newsman at times. Just very good interview. But she was, and I'm going to have Joe put up some pictures of her now. Okay. Of her when she was younger. Do we have, this is her when she's older. We could do that.
All right.
This is Ethel. This is age 96. Here's Barack Obama. What a wimp. He wanted him to do the bucket challenge. She's like in her late 80s or early 90s at the time. Everybody's doing the bucket challenge.
And he said no.
And he says no. He didn't need, he's too cool for the room. I'm too cool. I can't do it. So he sent her a donation. But you know what? I didn't have the backbone to just have a little fun and help promote something and laugh at himself. Okay. But you know what? He did send a donation.
I got those young pics for you, Mike, whenever you want them.
Well, I told Joe. Joe, this woman had 11. Kennedy, I don't know how he found the time. I mean, the rumors of Marilyn Monroe, the rumors of all these starlets, John traveling with Sinatra. And then on top of that, they 11 children. Okay, let's check out. Why did they have 11 children? Because she was, this is a good-looking mother, right? Look at this lady. And there they are, respectable at the church. Wonderful. Look at her. Jackie O and her.
She's a looker.
There they are. They always take pictures with 2 kids.
Yeah.
They leave the other 9 out. There's 2, but they'll come here in a second. I know. There's 3 kids. Look how good. I mean, really. I'm sure she had plenty of help. It's not like if you have 5 kids and you're living on like Laverne Street in Chicago and in a bungalow,
Yeah.
But she's just a wonderful woman. And then the Kennedys, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, started messing with the wrong people.
Sure.
And I mean, if you ask me who I wouldn't mess with in my life, I'd say the mafia. I'd say the CIA. I'd say the Teamsters. And I'd say the Cubans. And guess who they messed with?
It's like you listed everyone that they messed with.
Guess and I forgot Lyndon Johnson. Guess who they messed with? Oh, J. Edgar Hoover. The FBI, throw them in. So the FBI, the U.S. government, Cuba, the mafia, okay, the CIA. They messed with them all. Okay.
True.
And then people think, okay, that the Kennedys lost their men because if I wanted to assassinate a president, okay, I'd say, yeah, let's get a drifter. Let's get a drifter and give him a big ass rifle and put him up on the 6th floor of a depository. Give him 5 or 6 bullets. Give him a chicken dinner where his hands are all greasy. And when the car goes by, he'll just shoot him. Never happened, folks. Never happened. You're going to pull a coup. You don't have a drifter, a homeless guy, basically, upstairs. It's
Someday
always
those
one
files
guy.
will come out, Mike.
Huh?
Someday we'll see those files.
Yeah, they're going to open it up in 2070 when we're all dead or whatever. But if you look at Robert Kennedy, who was guarded that night by Rayford Johnson, Rosie Greer, and other people. Rayford Johnson, a decathlon guy. Rosie Greer, one of the great football defensive tackles of all time, played for the Rams. It's another guy, Sirhan. One guy. So you're going to get a waiter to knock off a guy that pissed off the mafia,
Sure.
the government, all these people. Well, I've never bought into it. I know it was more than one. If you see, all you have to do is, even if Oliver Stone is only 3/4 right in JFK,
Yeah.
it's enough. And Ethel, you
Was
never
right by his
know.
side.
She stood by his side. But here's the thing. There's not a day that goes by that they know that their husbands push the envelope with people that helped them, get elected, that helped Robert get that job.
Always.
And she took the high road, never said a word. Her and Jackie Onassis, through the deaths of their husband, showed tremendous grace.
Oh,
Ethel Kennedy,
absolutely.
Ethel Kennedy has never been outspoken about things, has kept her thoughts to herself. But to have 11 kids and then lose your husband. And then here's the beautiful part about Ethel Kennedy. She loved Robert so much. And I'll be honest with you, I liked both guys. I mean, I was going to the Catholic school in the 60s, early 70s. The Catholics loved him. He was our first Catholic president. And then you got the brother, who didn't have a lot of experience, elevated to Attorney General. Ethel Kennedy was the pillar of that family, like most of the women are. There she is with her niece, Caroline, who was the daughter of JFK. There's the picture, the group picture. Just an
all the grandkids.
Yeah, grandkids. And there she is. She's been to many of these, and she's lost. I mean, it's unbelievable that she lost her brother-in-law and her husband in the 60s. And she lives to be 96 years old. Obama giving her the Medal of Freedom. There she is, being gracious. There's the wimp that didn't want to do the bucket challenge. Come on, you got to laugh at yourself. She's a neighbor at Martha's Vineyard. Come on. And the Kennedys, well-to-do, fortunate, but they paid the price. I do admire their political service. I campaigned as a youngster for Robert Kennedy. And in 1964, I mean, I was 12 years old, and the elections were as big then as they are now.
Oh, sure.
Okay. And they were rigged back then, just like they're rigged now. I mean, Mayor Daley and the Mafia and Teamsters in West Virginia, Mayor Daley in Chicago and in West Virginia, read about the election of JFK. That's how he won.
You had dead people voting back then, Mike.
Absolutely. And and that's just the way it was in Chicago, from one of the greatest mayors of any big city ever, the first Mayor Daley. So, to Ethel Kennedy though, during the 70s, with a renewed commitment to public service, she focused much of her time and energy on social causes and local causes. She endorsed Barack Obama. She held fundraisers for him. In 2012, she appeared in a documentary about her life directed by her youngest child, daughter Rory. The documentary, I'm going to have to check it out, entitled Ethel, covers Kennedy's early political involvement, her life with Robert Kennedy, and stuff like that. In her later years, she resided at the Kennedy compound. It's not like, a little thing. In Massachusetts and in Palm Beach, Florida. She died in Boston just recently, October 10th, after being hospitalized for a stroke. She had a week prior. Biden, Obama, and Clinton gave tributes to her. She's won the Kennedy Honors Award. The White House Rose Garden honored her. In popular culture, Ellen Parker portrays Kennedy in the 1983 miniseries Kennedy, set during the Kennedy presidency. Marnie McPhail portrays Kennedy in the 2002 television film RFK. It's got to be weird if there's a story of your life and you're watching somebody else portray it.
That's got to be so strange, yeah.
In numerous movies, okay? She also was in the 2011 miniseries, not her, the Kennedy, set during the Kennedy presidency, and in a 2017 sequel, The Kennedys After Camelot. They are as close to royalty as we've ever had in this country. Ethel Kennedy was like a princess to Jackie Kennedy. Well, really, they were she was married to Robert Kennedy, 11 children, grandchildren up to yin yang. I mean, a remarkable legacy for her. Their family is the most famous political family still, in my opinion, in this country's history. And it's going to stay that way. So, Joe, I know that Are you pretty impressed with Ethel Kennedy now that you know?
I'm impressed with Ethel Kennedy. I knew, obviously I know RFK, and I didn't know much about his wife, but I did a lot of homework after the show. She did more behind the scenes than people give her credit for, and definitely will be missed, and did a lot with what she was given, which was a lot of tragedy.
Yeah, and she was given a lot of privilege too because of the money, but she didn't seem like that kind of person. She dressed normally. They had 11 kids. They better have some money coming in.
Yeah, I hope so.
My God, 11 kids. Now, I knew a family we knew families back in the 60s, 70s had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids. Those days seem to be gone. You know, you can't even buy bacon anymore for 2 kids. You know, so
a dozen eggs is $5 now.
Yeah. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. We thank our Cumberland Chapels and funeral home, the funeral home, and we also thank Pennyville Station, Tony Antonacci, my buddy Tony. We'll be out there to see you guys real soon, and we thank everybody on a special morning show. They've been dying 2 at a time, 3 at a time lately. We're busy. We're like firemen. The red light goes off, the alarm goes off. Joe did say, "How's 8 o'clock Saturday?" I said, "It's great." I said, "I'll go to bed right after that." Joe goes, "No, 8 in the morning. This is serious business." And here we go. So on behalf of Joe, on behalf of me, on behalf of our sponsors, and on behalf of all of you, God bless Ethel Kennedy, and we'll see you next time.